Hey, this is Corey from Wolfpack Woodcraft, and Thrunite was nice enough to send me another flashlight to review, so we're going to unbox it. We're going to take it outside, see what it's all about, and then we'll come back inside where we go over the features and all the specs that I feel are important. If you want to skip this video, I will leave links in the description box down below so you can get all the information yourself without hearing my thoughts and my personal opinions on it. But the flashlight itself is the TS2 Self-Rescue Light. It's for outdoor sports, emergency maintenance, and phone charging. So it's all held together with a clear rubber band. If I open it up, it just has the light itself, which is pretty cool. It seems like a very simple light, just one button, so it probably has an on and an off. Yep. What if I hold it? Nothing. So I'm going to have to learn how to use this light. I don't even know how to take it apart, to be honest with you, but we'll figure it out and I'll tell you all the things you need to know about it. It comes with a little foam insert, comes with a little box. Inside we have a little hook that hooks on to the end. So I don't know if this... So the hook is magnetic, so there must be a piece of metal inside the flashlight so that this hooks onto it, because it hooks onto the charging cable. The charging cable is it's got a whole bunch of charging cables. So I don't know which this takes, but there are 3 different charging cables on the end. The one end is USB, the other end is 3 different connectors, and then it comes with instructions. So I have to learn a lot about this light. So let's take it outside, we'll see what it's all about, and then we'll come back inside and I will show you all the features that I've learned about this light. So stay tuned. Alright, so we are outside and we're going to take a look at this Thrunite flashlight. Now, it took me a while to figure out the modes, but it's super easy once you figure it out. You turn the button on and it's on, push it again, it's off. Once it's on, you just hold it and it'll go from low, medium, high, back down to low. And then if you double press it, it goes into SOS mode. And you press it again, it goes off. It's a very simple design. It's like a little candle. It's not the brightest flashlight, but it does light up a large area. So let's turn this thing around. I'll walk to the alley and back and you can kind of see how bright it is. And then we'll go through the modes and then we'll get back inside where we'll talk about the specs. Yep. It's like a candle. It's not really a big shining light. It's just a little beacon almost. So when I was walking, I couldn't see very far in front of me. I can see everything around me, right? But I can't see very far. So it's like this little circle of light in a pitch blackness. And as I'm walking, it just illuminates more and more and more as I'm walking. So it's more of like a little candle. So let's go through the modes. So we have low, which isn't very bright, just enough to light up the ground underneath me. Medium, lights up a little bit. High, really lights up the ground. I can really see the leaves and the grass, and I can see there's a lot more detail in the ground on high. So with low, can barely see anything. Medium, I can see a little bit more, but everything kind of blends together. And then high, I can really see, and the circle gets quite a bit bigger on high. So let's go inside where we can talk about the specs. Alright, so when it comes to the TS2, I keep trying to call it the ST2, but the TS2, we unboxed it, we took it outside, we went through some of the modes, but there's a couple more features I want to talk about. First off, the little hook has a magnet on it, and so it is magnetized, so you can stick this onto something so that you don't lose it. My little EDC T10 has a magnet. I can stick it on that and use that with my T10. You can use it for a lot more than just on this flashlight. The casing also has a magnet on it as well. And so you can stick this to the side of a vehicle, you can stick it to something, and then your hands free essentially. And so that's pretty convenient. The battery is different. This is a weird battery. It's a Thrunite emergency light power bank rechargeable battery, 5,000 milliamp hours. And so it's essentially the whole light is just the battery itself. You don't need the casing, you don't need the hook, you don't need anything. You could literally just carry the battery and the light itself that hooks to it. Now, when you receive this, if you buy one, the light slides off, okay? So you don't want to pull it off the top. It slides to the side. And so there's a little charging port on the side. The light bulb has a little connector, a USB-C connector, and those go together, they slide together. So make sure that you're not pulling this thing off and wrecking the USB-C connector on the light. But other than that, it is very, very simple little light. There's also LEDs on the light itself for the battery indicator, and as it's charging, it'll blink how charged it is. And so when I first got it, there was only one light, and then I charged it up until 3 lights, so 75%. There are 4 lights together. Each light represents 25%. And so it's a very simple light to use. And you just push the button, it goes on. Push it again, it turns off. There's really not much to it at all. The light itself is not waterproof at all, so make sure that you keep it dry. The modes are easy to go through. It's just a convenient little light. Honestly, I've been talking to Caroline about it, and I just been calling it like a candle, because you can set it down and it lights up a table, it lights up an area, especially on high. If you put it on high, it can really light up an area. And it's just like a little tiny candle. It stands up by itself really well. You don't have to worry about burning the house down. So in a blackout situation, this would be a really nice light to have. Yeah, I just can't get over how simple it is. The other thing is the cable itself. The cable that comes with it is very short, but it has 3 different ends in it. So it has micro USB, I think whatever the Apple charger is, and then a USB-C. And so it can charge a multiple different devices. I like this cable. This cable is probably going to come with me everywhere I go, because a lot of my things either have USB-C or micro USB. And so having a cable that does both is really nice. The other thing is the other end has a USB, like a standard USB. And then you can take the head off, and then it's a USB-C. And that is how this becomes a power bank. So you can charge your phone, or you can charge whatever you need to charge from this battery itself. And so that's a really cool feature as well. It's only 5,000 milliamp hours, and so that could potentially charge your cell phone, but you're going to be using it, right? You're going to be using it as a light, so you're not going to have the full 5,000 milliamp hours. I usually cut it in half, right? You're going to be using it, you're going to be playing with the light, you're going to be using it as a light. You're probably going to drain about half the battery, so if you needed it in an emergency, you'd probably only have 2,500 milliamp hours left, maybe 2,000, but that should be a quarter of a charge, so it is decently sized. We will talk about emergency charging in another video though, so stay tuned for that. But this is a cool little cable. I wish it was a little bit longer, but again, when you're out camping, when you're out doing things, you don't need a long cable. The cable is usually going to be attached to a power bank of some sort, and so this is a very small package. So let's get into the specs. Alright, so it only has 4 modes. It has high, medium, low, and SOS. On SOS, it has 118 lumens for 20 hours, so the runtime, again, most people aren't going to set it on SOS and then just leave for 20 hours and come back. right? You're going to be using it on low a little bit. You might be using it on high a little bit. You might be using it on and off again. And so these aren't cut and dry times. They just kind of give you a reference point to how long you can expect it to last. So then low is 5 lumens, and that can run for 180 hours. Medium is 40 lumens, that can run for 30 hours. And high is 118 lumens for 11 hours. And so if you keep this thing on low 180 hours, this thing can light up your tent, it can light up your hammock. It's a very good lantern to use on long trips. And so I really think that's where it's going to shine. The charging capabilities, I really like the charging capabilities. I like the cable. The cable seems to make for a good pair. The hook, so the hook is kind of my only complaint about this light, because the hook doesn't really stay on very well. If you jiggle it a little bit, it falls right off. So I don't really trust the hook for carrying it or latching it onto something. It's probably going to fall off. But if you're, like I said, if you're at base camp and you're hooking it on a ridge line, or you're hooking it on the top of your tent, the loop on the top of your tent to light up your tent, that's where it's going to be perfect. And so you can hang it on a ridge line, you can light up your tent with it, and as long as it's not moving or being shaken real hard, it should hold up really well. So I like this light. It's not going to be for everyone because, again, it doesn't shine, it doesn't have a big beam of light, right? It's just going to light up a table, it's going to light up a small area, you're going to be able to play cards. Like I said, I treat it more like a candle, right? If you would light a candle, set it down, and just enjoy the light while you do something else, that's what this is. It's just a little candle light for you to see in the dark. So with that being said, make sure to leave any knowledge or questions in that comment section. I want to know what you think of this tiny little light, and I can't wait to see you on my next video.